Neil Bakewell is extreme supermorbidly obese and tips the scales at 43 stone. But even though his weight is putting his life at risk, he simply can't stop eating.
I put on sort of around about 15 stone in the last 5 years. Yeah, obviously it's a concern that if that particular trend was to continue, then we're sort of reaching disaster point.
Craig Curtis was so incapacitated by his weight, he couldn't even wash himself.
Being his size, I feel dead inside. It's nothing to live for, really. I get bigger and bigger. Telling my family what I live for, to be honest.
18 months ago, he had gastric bypass surgery to help him lose over 20 stone of excess fat. Has weight loss surgery given Craig back the life he'd lost? Expect graphic scenes of gastric bypass surgery on Fat Doctor. Britain now has one of the highest rates of obesity in the world. Almost a third of British adults are dangerously overweight, and the figures continue to soar. Over 12 million people in the UK are currently on a diet, but only 1 in 5 will successfully lose weight. For the rest, it's a losing battle. No matter how hard they try, they just can't get rid of the fat.
Over the last 10 years, I've put on 10 stone. My health has just deteriorated so much that my joints have started aching, diabetes, arthritis in my hips and my hands, shoulder complaints from carrying my weight around. It's just never ending.
What makes me eat? I wish I knew the real answer to that, because I wouldn't do it. I don't know. I'm not a stupid woman. I've got O-levels and A-levels, and yet I behave stupidly. And I do stupid things. It's almost like I'm addicted to it.
The effect on my weight it's had on me, I have counselling once a week. I'm on depressants. Don't want to do anything anymore. Won't wear smart clothes anymore, just feel low all the time. It's very hard.
I just don't like looking into mirrors. I just find it very hard. How did I let it get this bad? I feel like I don't have a life at the moment. I just feel I'm just existing.
As a last resort, some of the nation's morbidly obese are turning to this man. Shaw Summers is a bariatric surgeon who shrinks stomachs to the size of an egg in an effort to change and even save people's lives.
That's it. So the stomach's now divided. I think this sphere of surgery, probably more than most, demands that you have a really heightened degree of empathy for your patients, and you understand that these people have faced prejudice from almost every angle in society, and the last thing they need is any kind of patronising behaviour towards them. And you do need to be especially kind. Unfortunately, the general attitude in society is that obesity is a self-created problem and that people could and should lose weight by themselves if they put their mind to it. I think that indicates a complete failure of understanding that none of these people want to be big, they're just trapped in circumstances that create it. The prejudice that these people feel is quite extreme at times, and it unfortunately pervades every aspect of their lives, and they feel utterly downtrodden. And I think you have to appreciate how badly done to these people are by the time they come for help.
Shaw performs operations on some of Britain's biggest. They go under his knife in a desperate bid to shed the pounds.
For those people who are truly addicted to food, it is probably the hardest of addictions to deal with, because you can't give it up totally. Those who have tried, you lose weight, but eventually when you start to eat again, it all goes back. And there is no line on a plate of food telling individuals where to stop. So unlike cigarettes, alcohol, drugs that you can live without, food you still have to eat. And to deny yourself an addiction by parts is really, really tough.
These are some of Shaw's former patients at their annual reunion.
I've lost 8 stone in 7 months, so I'm a totally different person.
I've lost nearly 11 stone in the last 15 months, and it's fantastic. I've got my life back. I've got no regrets at all about the operation. It was the best thing I've ever done.
I've lost 5¼ stone in 4.5 months, and I feel absolutely fantastic. I just feel more confident, I'm healthier, and I'm just so grateful.
It's results like these that 43-stone Neil Bakewell is desperate to achieve, but he simply can't conquer his addiction to food.
I'm a reasonably intelligent bloke, and I realise that eating is killing me. But it's not as easy for somebody who perhaps hasn't got this problem to actually say, oh, stop eating and do some more exercise. And I think that it's that addictive side to the problem that people who aren't my size can't really grasp.
Neil Bakewell is 32 years old and weighs a shocking 43 stone. You are considered obese if you have a body mass index of over 30. At 6 foot 5 inches tall and with a BMI of 75, Neil is classed as extreme supermorbidly obese. He was shocked on a recent hospital visit to discover just how heavy he is.
Well, I'm 43 stone, which was a hell of a shock. I couldn't believe that I'd managed to get my weight up to that sort of level. I'm a reasonably intelligent bloke, and I realise that eating is killing me. But it's not as easy for somebody who perhaps hasn't got this problem to actually say, oh, stop eating and do some more exercise. Maybe if I was a drug addict, sat here in front of you and saying, well, I've got a problem, I'd probably be more sympathetic with me. And I think it's that addictive side to the problem that people who aren't my size can't really grasp.
Breakfast may look like a modest affair, but it's just the beginning of a long day of eating that is taking its toll on Neil's health.
I've put on sort of around about 15 stone in the last 5 years. Yeah, obviously it's a concern that if that particular trend was to continue, then we're sort of reaching disaster point.
Neil lives near Tunbridge in Kent with wife Jenny and stepdaughter Jodie. Jenny is becoming increasingly concerned about Neil's weight.
When I first met Neil, he was around 22, 23 stone. He's 43 stone now, so he's put on about 21 stone in 8 years. It's a hell of a lot of weight. I don't know whether it's because I'm also big, but I wasn't this size when I met Neil. I was probably about 15 stone, and I'm 23 stone now.
Morning, you alright?
Yeah. Did you make me coffee?
I did, it's in there.
Food is not only an addiction for Neil, Jenny also struggles to control her diet.
Our weight has considerably got worse since we met each other, yes.
We are both as bad as each other.
Yes, we are. I certainly wasn't the size I am when I met you.
Unfortunately, when one of us has a weak moment, the other one's only too willing to go along with it.
If we're depressed, if we're stressed, if we're upset, if we're happy, we eat. I don't know. I don't know whether it's because I'm also big, but I wasn't this size when I met Neil. I think I was about, when I met Neil, I was probably about 15 stone, and I'm 23 stone now. I don't know whether it's the combination of two big people liking food, meeting. I mean, we don't go to pubs, we don't drink, so we tend to go out. Our social life is going out for meals, whether it's, fast takeaway food or going out for an actual meal in a restaurant or getting in a takeaway. We both enjoy our food. Oh, that's nice. If Neil doesn't lose the weight and get himself healthy, then he's not going to be around. I know that for a fact. He won't be around. He's 32. I doubt whether he'll live past 40. I'm sure of it. I worry every day about that. I worry even if he goes in the car out somewhere on his own that he's just going to keel over and have a heart attack. It just would be such a shame because he's such a lovely guy. Yeah. So, yeah.
Neil's size is making it increasingly difficult for him to get around.
Yeah, we rely on the car quite a lot, obviously, as my weight's increased, especially being in a rural location as well. It's not like we've got a shop on the doorstep or anything, so yeah, we do rely heavily on the car. But obviously, if the weight was to increase more, then trying to get in and out of the car would be difficult, and obviously if that was removed from me, then the lifestyle options would decrease. So yes, if I was resorting to having to use the bus and train, then my mobility and lifestyle will be severely hampered.
Neil and Jenny run a care agency. It's a successful business, but Neil is increasingly finding it a strain.
We've been doing this for about 5 or 6 years now. Obviously, when we first started, I'd be running around up and down the country going to meetings, etc. I find that a lot harder to do these days, principally I think because I really can't get a suit to fit me. So that sort of dents the confidence a bit when you're sort of arriving at a business meeting in sort of semi-casual clothes as opposed to a full business suit. I find my confidence perhaps has dipped a bit as well, whereas before I'd be sort of up and at 'em, as it were. I'm not so boisterous now, as it were.
He does become quite, I mean, he won't admit to it, but he does become quite depressed about it, certainly. And it affects us because me and Neil work and live together 24/7. I obviously notice it a lot. So he does become very down about his weight. It just affects his whole life, really. I mean, he doesn't need as much help as a lot of larger people, but in normal daily activities, it has affected his self-esteem and his confidence and his personality. He's not as happy as he used to be. You know, he's just not as jolly as he used to be because he's always thinking about his weight. And obviously at work it affects him because he also has to have a sleep during the day, which I think frustrates him because he just wants to get on and get out and get on with the business.
Unfortunately for Neil, temptation is close at hand. Across the road from the office is a fast food van.
Matt?
Yeah?
Do us a favour.
Yeah?
Can you go to the van man for me, will you?
Yeah, no problem. What is it you'd like?
Can I get a bacon stick
Yeah? Bacon stick?
and a portion of chips with ketchup? If I've not had breakfast at home, I'll get something from the local sandwich shop, van man, as it were. Probably a bacon roll or a bacon stick.
And that'll be for breakfast, but he's already had breakfast at home because he does get hungry all the time. And then at lunchtime he'll have a sandwich, or maybe a tuna sandwich or a sausage sandwich or a bacon sandwich, and then another baguette as well, and maybe some chips too.
Perhaps we'd have a snack of something if there's something lying around the office. You know, sort of a donut or something.
And then in the afternoon, if anyone's brought cakes in, he'll have some cake. One of the guys brings in biscuits, so and he'll eat a whole packet of biscuits. And this is just during the day. He's just always hungry. Yeah, he's always hungry.
Right, Neil?
Hey, you all right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Neil's stepmum Siobhan works for Neil's company. She has seen a dramatic change in him over the years.
When I first knew him, he was massively enthusiastic about everything, and nothing seemed to be too much. I was full of lots of ideas, which he still is full of ideas, but he doesn't have the physical capability to stay awake, basically. He falls asleep, he gets down more quickly. You know, there's a negative. It seems to be a bigger deal now than it used to be. When you see somebody becoming disabled by weight, and it isn't just the physical weight, it is as well, it's the emotional side of it. It breaks your heart because you don't want anybody that you love to withdraw from society, and that's what Neil's done.
As a small child, Neil was a normal size, but at junior school he developed a stutter, and Neil believes this may have triggered his addiction to food.
Obviously, at school, I'd been bullied, and it was about time. And I remember it coming all to a head on one particular occasion, where my teacher asked me to go down the corridor and borrow a pair of scissors from the next class. Anyway, I walked down to this class. I was repeating out loud, "Can Mrs. Ive borrow a pair of scissors? Can Mrs. Ive borrow a pair of scissors?" But of course, as you can imagine, when I got there, the words just would not come out, and my face went red, and it'd twist and contort with the words, and the whole class fell about laughing. They all sat there in their red jumpers, the lights coming in off the school field, and I can visualise that to this day. And, you know, obviously I was completely and utterly smashed by this particular incident. I think food may have come into the equation at this point. When I was having problems, I'd perhaps sneak into the biscuit tin a bit more. And yeah, maybe that was the trigger for it.
Neil enjoys cooking his food as much as eating it. This dinner he's preparing for the family will be just the start of a long evening of eating.
Tonight we're having what we call nice burgers, which is burgers that I make myself. There's mince, onion, bit of garlic, a few breadcrumbs, Worcester sauce, bit of basil, and blend it all together. And then we have a reasonably healthy burger, I guess. Of course, it is fried, of course. I don't mind cooking, it's just when you're tired from work is the problem. The biggest problem is the telephones at hand. So, you know, the pizza man and the Indian man and the Chinese man are only a short phone call away, yeah? It's a lot easier to ring up one of them than sit down and start cooking from scratch, but I guess that's the case for everyone. It's not really an excuse, is it? But it's a simple fact of life. This is dinner, but, you know, probably tonight, you know, we'll put the football on and have a few packets of crisps or probably some toast before bed. So yeah, this probably won't be it as yet. I have to sit down when I cook because I can't stand up for that long, otherwise the pressure on my back's too much. You know, so if I sit down, it takes the weight off it. Right, gonna get a bit of cheese on there, just to get the old calorie level up. Not enough of it, is it? Yep. Dinner!
Neil and Jenny have tried numerous methods to lose weight, but nothing has worked.
We had our personal trainer.
And then we got a personal trainer who was also a nutritionalist.
We did very well on the exercise front, but not so well on the eating front, if we're honest.
Not on the eating. We even tried having our own cook. Her main purpose was to cook us a healthy meal. And she did cook us healthy meals. We didn't always like the healthy meals, you know, fish, that sort of thing. But then we would still go and eat something bad after she'd gone out the door. It's just that oomph of something sweet or naughty or...
I don't think that was the case for me.
For me, it was. For you, I don't think it was enough food for you.
Neil believes that weight loss surgery is the only chance he has of losing over 20 stone of excess fat. But it hasn't been an easy decision to make.
You've been very concerned about it.
Well, yeah, obviously because of the risks and the complications involved. And also, there's that aspect in the back of your mind that you don't want to admit you've probably got no self-control. But obviously once you realise actually what you do weigh, then you've got to accept that that is the best and only course of action, and that's what's got to happen.
Over the last 5 years, Neil's put on about 15 stone. And I think that, well, I know that if we don't do this, I mean, it is quite a drastic course of action, the surgery, but I just think that he won't be around. Sorry. He won't be around for the next 5-10 years.
So that's obviously why we've got to take this route.
Yeah.
Neil is currently on a waiting list for gastric bypass surgery. Bariatric surgeon Shaw Summers will be performing his operation.
Neil's a very young, very big man. He's 43 stone, he's 32 years of age, and he presents a different set of problems to a lot of patients. Neil now is in the situation where he is going to start to run into serious problems with his weight because it's so extreme. When you're young and big, your joints are still new, your heart is still fit, your lungs do what they should do, and you can cope with the stresses and strains of carrying 43 stone around. But usually by the mid-30s to early 40s, the body just grinds to a halt because it just cannot cope anymore, and these patients just fall over, basically.
To date, Shaw has performed almost 2,000 bariatric operations. He's in London today to address a medical conference on the subject of obesity.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Shaw believes that unless the problem of obesity is dealt with, it will break the health service in the next 25 years. He's here today to discuss what strategies need to be developed in order to tackle the nation's weight.
Although most people would recognise the fact that we have to start dealing with this subject seriously and organise ourselves. It's very difficult to tie all these services together in a way that will really work on a national basis. So I've come to talk to health service providers, NHS managers and interested clinicians about what our service comprises, how we've set it up and how this could be introduced in other areas. If you look at cost effectiveness, it's absolutely clear cut. There's absolutely no question that treating obesity, whether it's with special diets, behavioural therapy groups, tablets or surgery, is much more cost effective than leaving it. What I'm most concerned about is that unless we start gearing up the ability to look after people and their weight issues from primary care, that is the GPs, right the way through to hospitals, we're not going to be able to cope with the tidal wave of demand when people wake up and say, actually, I want help, I want to deal with this. There will be nowhere for them to go if there's still only me and my friends doing it.
Coming up, how has life changed for this 40-stone man since losing over half his body weight? And it's the day of Neil's gastric bypass operation, and emotions are running high.
The worst thing that you can do is get upset, so I promised that I wouldn't do that. And I've been repeated it, you know, and you can't help worry, can you? So, thank you.
And Peter, get your rid of the table.
Neil Bakewell is 32 years old and weighs a shocking 43 stone. You are considered obese if you have a body mass index of over 30. At 6 foot 5 inches tall and with a BMI of 75, Neil is regarded as extreme, super morbidly obese.
Hi there, can I place an order? Yeah, can I have a portion of chili chicken wings, a sweet and sour chicken Hong Kong style?
Neil has repeatedly tried and failed to control his addiction to food. But temptation is always close at hand.
And 7 cans of 7-Up, please. And when you get home from work at night, you often don't feel like cooking, so the pizza man and the Chinese man and the Indian man, they get used on a very regular rotational basis.
No.
No?
That looks nice, actually.
Looks nice. Lots of lovely healthy vegetables.
Neil's weight is so wearing, he falls asleep often throughout the day. His bed bears the brunt of his 43-stone body.
We've been through 5 beds. This is our 5th bed, and this is a super king bed.
But to be fair, the other beds were stupid beds with
Yeah.
little slats on.
No good for
fancy
us.
French things, you know.
This bed is reinforced at the moment with some drawers, a set of drawers on Neil's side, because something's gone. The base is broken.
Well,
isn't it?
everything's gone, isn't it?
Yeah. We will get a new bed once you've lost some weight, and once I've lost some weight.
Yeah.
Neil sleeps badly at night. Because of his weight, his sleep pattern is disturbed and restless.
I'm always up and down, covers are too hot, moving about, tossing and turning. I don't really get a concerted period of restful deep sleep.
I don't sleep very well because you always wake me up when you get up and down in the night.
I know, I'm sorry about that, I do apologise.
Yeah.
You shout at me.
I do shout at you, It's terrible, and I'm always having to bash him because of the snoring. I just can't sleep. It's terrible. I even tried ear
muffs.
Yeah, didn't I? But they didn't work.
No.
I can still hear you snoring.
Yeah.
I call it the earthquake. When Neil tosses and turns in the bed, it is like an earthquake.
Neil is currently on a waiting list for gastric bypass surgery to help him lose weight. But during his assessment at St Richard's Hospital, he was diagnosed with sleep apnea, a condition which causes his breathing to stop for short periods of time during sleep. This results in his body being starved of oxygen, and his heart and lungs suffer strain. Sleep apnea is one of the biggest killers of obese people.
Yeah.
Over your ears,
Yeah.
under your chin,
Right.
and the woggle there is going to do uptight.
Right, okay.
Neil's surgery has now been postponed for 3 months while his sleep apnea is treated. This special machine will boost Neil's breathing as he sleeps by forcing a continuous air pressure through his nose, keeping his airway open. This will help his heart and lungs recover and make his operation safer. Craig Curtis knows all too well what Neil's going through. A year and a half ago, Craig weighed 40 stone and needed round-the-clock care from his wife, Cindy.
Being this size, I feel dead inside. It's nothing to live for, really. I get bigger and bigger. Telling my family what I live for, to be honest. If I didn't have them, there would be no point.
Craig was so desperate he underwent gastric bypass surgery, having his stomach reduced to the size of an egg in the hope it would give him back his life. It was a decision that paid off. In less than 2 years, Craig has lost over 21 stone.
It's changed my life, absolutely, 100%, and I feel amazing. Obviously going from 40 stone, 8 pounds to now nearly 21 stone lighter, more fitter, better looking. But, there's just little things that make all the difference.
From being unable to walk more than 10 yards because of his size, Craig now trains at the gym 3 times a week.
I couldn't do this like 15 months ago, but yeah, brilliant. Feel energetic and just something I enjoy. For me, really. This is my addiction, new one. Coming to the gym, it's helped in more ways, mate. It's more confidence, when I walk out, I don't get the remarks, the things. It's more, just a normal person. The more you go, the better you feel, the more weight you lose. It's brilliant, so get to the gym.
When he weighed 40 stone, Craig struggled to find clothes that fitted him. Now, he's 10 sizes smaller.
I used to live and die in my trusty old t-shirt and top and trousers. This is what it used to look like, but now it's, obviously look, let's get 2 or 3 in there, so that's my top. And these things are, every day really, to be honest. Used to be quite stretched as well, so obviously like that, but now I can get into one leg. And my shirt, it's like wearing this, same as the t-shirt, but it used to be quite tight, but now it's just way too big. So I can get these, I'm going to keep these just a little reminder.
Wife Cindy used to wait on Craig hand and foot. Now their roles have reversed.
Thank you. Everything's just got better, really. Because he's gone back to being the old Craig when we first met, bubbly, funny, a laugh.
Good looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just sharing a load, really. I used to love cooking, so that's my kitchen.
I'm not allowed in the kitchen now.
Craig used to consume over 7,000 calories a day. Now he eats less than 500.
The difficult part of my journey has been eating, really. I just can't really eat anything, little bits here, little bits there. For someone to have an addiction with food, it's a big thing. It is the hardest thing, is to just stop from eating what you like to hardly anything. But that's a little price to pay from obviously losing all the weight. I feel fine myself at the moment. I try my best to eat what I can, try different things, but if it doesn't agree, it doesn't agree.
Craig's weight loss has improved life for the whole family.
Mine and the kids' relationships are just fantastic. It's so much better now. We can do things together. It's just brilliant. I'm getting my life back now. I am so happy. It is the best thing and the best feeling just to be fit again.
Relationships got better, a lot better. Obviously, we're acting like a normal couple and just being loving and romantic, really.
The operation I would recommend to everybody who obviously needs to have it done, to be honest. It saved my life, 100%. It saved my life.
In Tunbridge, 43-stone Neil Bakewell is feeling the benefit of using his sleep apnea mask for the past 3 months. He used to wake up more than 20 times a night, but now he sleeps right through.
It's really amazing how such a small machine can change your life. I've had absolutely no problems with sleep whatsoever, whereas beforehand I was tossing and turning all night, getting up to the loo 3 or 4 times a night. But now I sleep all the way through from 11 till 7 and get a good quality 8 hours sleep in. So I'm all excited and raring to go and want to get in the theatre and then get out and get well and get home and get on with the rest of my life.
A week later, and it's finally the day of Neil's gastric bypass operation, which he hopes will help him lose over 20 stone of excess fat.
Morning, Neil.
Morning, how are you?
Surgeon Shaw Summers wants to run through the procedure with him one last time before his operation.
You made it?
Yes, not bad.
You all set?
All set to go.
Right. quite clear that what we're up to today is to do gastric bypass surgery.
Yep.
In order to try and help you lose weight.
Yep.
Good. Well, they're all set in theatres.
Okay.
I just need to ask you to sign the consent form to confirm you've understood it all.
Good.
I'll ask you to sign and date to say that you agree to that and understand.
4th, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Should be engraved on my heart, really, shouldn't it?
Okay.
Okay, sure.
I'll see you shortly.
Thanks a
All
lot.
right. Okay.
Well, I won't see you, will I?
I was going to say, I'll see you, you won't see me. All right.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Bye. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
With the operation only minutes away, wife Jenny is trying hard to keep a brave face.
I'm feeling absolutely fine. Just a bit nervous, but holding it together.
It's quite exciting to finally get it done, isn't it?
It's very exciting to get it, yeah. I promised Neil that I'd be cool and calm and collected. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Neil's trying hard to keep Jenny's spirits up, but as soon as he's taken to theatre, she finally cracks.
He said to me, don't cry. The worst thing that you can do is get upset, you know, once before I go down. So I promised him that I wouldn't do that. I think I did quite well until now. But I know he's going to be fine, but I love him to pieces, you know, and you can't help worry, can you? So, but he'll be fine.
Hang in there, because I'm going to just slip another one. Going over.
As anaesthetists begin work on putting Neil to sleep, Shaw Summers scrubs up, ready to perform the operation.
Coming in. There we go.
Despite weighing 43 stone, Neil is relatively healthy at the moment.
There are quite a number of young, overweight people who are fit physiologically. In other words, all their body systems work perfectly well and carry the weight. That presents an ideal opportunity to intervene while they're still fit, so that we can expect them to maintain their level of fitness as they lose their weight and gain maximum benefit from the surgery. If you wait until someone's actually developed serious illnesses like heart problems or blood pressure or diabetes before you treat them, the results aren't so good in the long run.
The first challenge Shaw faces is whether to perform Neil's operation open or keyhole.
I'm and ahhing about this one.
Generally, large men like Neil tend to carry their fat internally, around their organs, which can make keyhole surgery tricky.
Okay, just casing the joint, as they say.
Shaw decides to proceed with the operation keyhole. This will also help Neil recover more quickly from his surgery.
Okay, to start.
He makes 5 small incisions in order to create his operating ports. Through these, he can then put the instruments he needs into Neil's stomach to perform the operation.
Let's have a look. Looks okay to do keyhole. I can see my way around, and the thickness of the fat inside isn't quite as difficult as I thought it might be. I'm trying hard to stay on my little perch, my little platform here, because the actual position of Neil's tummy, you can see he's got quite a vast expanse of tummy, and I've got to stretch across, and I'm up here on my little perch, and it would be quite easy for me to drop off my perch, which wouldn't help Neil very much. What I'm going to do now is just to cut through the covering of the intestines called the omentum, just to give me a view of his internal organs.
The omentum is the fatty layer that protects the small intestine. Shaw makes a window through the omentum in order to start work on the gastric bypass. Before he staples Neil's stomach, Shaw has to bypass about 1 metre of the small intestine. This will reduce both Neil's appetite and the amount of calories his body can absorb. It's a drastic but necessary change.
The operation of bypass itself is a modification of the old type of ulcer surgery when people used to get stomach ulcers. And it was noticed that if you were big and had a stomach ulcer and had an operation to treat it, you lost weight. And a few bright sparks thought, well, if you haven't got an ulcer but you have the surgery, wouldn't it be nice to help people lose weight? And that's how bariatrics was born. But exactly why that kind of operation made you lose weight, it's still a bit of a black art. We don't quite know what it is exactly about doing this kind of operation makes it so successful. The reason why some people are big and others can eat the same amount of food and not get big is wrapped up in a whole host of different factors, from things you can't influence, like your genetics and your metabolism, to things you can influence, like your mood, your habits, your environment, your upbringing. All of these things impact on how you relate to food and how food forms part of your life. And we still don't understand fully how we influence that, apart from to do something to the intestinal system that makes it difficult to continue doing it. It would be lovely not to have to do this kind of operation on people. If something else really worked, I would be very happy to stop. Unfortunately, nothing else really works.
With the bypass of the small intestine completed, Shaw now has to reduce the size of Neil's stomach.
That'll be a reasonable size pouch. For a reasonable size bloke. Okay, I've started stapling the stomach to make a little pouch. This is the new definition of the term staple diet. On average, I try and aim for a pouch the size of an egg. For Neil, because he's such a large body frame, I can afford to make it slightly bigger, because for him, an egg would be absolutely minuscule. So I can afford to make it a large egg, not an ostrich egg.
Shaw then joins the bypassed small intestine to the new stomach pouch. Finally, he tests that all the joins are sewn together properly.
What I'm now going to do is do a pressure test of the join to make sure that there's no leakage from the stitch work that I've done. It's what I call the jacuzzi test, because if we blow air in and there's bubbles coming through, it looks like a jacuzzi, and it means I've got to do some more stitching. So we hope we have a bath, not a jacuzzi. Okay, so the join is now underwater. Just gonna wait for all the bubbles to settle. It's all airtight. That all looks fine and happy. No problems there. Good. Okay. The good thing about keyhole surgery is that once the operation's finished, you don't have to spend 20 minutes to half an hour closing the various layers of the tummy wall with stitches. You can just remove the ports and close the skin so that no stitching is required.
As anaesthetist prepare to wake Neil up, Shaw goes to reassure Neil's wife Jenny that the operation has gone well.
Not that I've been panicking or anything.
Everything's all right. Neil's fine. He's got a bypass, etc.
Is he awake now?
No, not yet. He's just waking up.
Right,
Okay, I just came in, so it's all done.
Thank you so
And
much.
the bypass was fine.
Brilliant.
All right.
Thank you so much.
See you later.
Right,
Okay.
thank you. Yes.
Only time will tell if the operation will cure Neil's addiction to food and save his life. An addiction to food was taking its toll on Neil Bakewell's body. Weighing 43 stone, he ate constantly. He'd fall asleep at work, and he'd even broken 5 beds. In a desperate bid to tackle his serious weight problem and save his life, Neil had gastric bypass surgery. And here are the results. In just 5 months, everything has changed.
I've lost over 12 stone now, and I feel absolutely great. My life has changed completely. I don't think I would have imagined me being able to walk around a golf course. If you'd have told me that back when I was having the operation done, I'd have probably have laughed at you. Yeah, quite simply now, after the operation, I feel like I've got a whole new life and a whole new start and a whole new chance, and I'm going to grasp it with both hands.
Neil knows that the operation alone is not enough to give him the weight loss results he wants. He's already lost 12 stone and wants to lose more.
Well, I'd really like to lose exactly the same again, and as you can see, I've come to the gym to try and help me achieve that. Yeah, when I first came, it was very difficult, but obviously as the weight comes off and your fitness improves, then things do become easier. I think it's possible that I will need a little bit of extra surgery to remove some sort of hanging skin, especially around, the big problem areas like my stomach and my upper arms. So hopefully it'll be to a minimum, but if I have to do that, then, it's no real hardship for the changing quality of life.
Can I just show you this?
Yes, I think so.
Wife Jenny can't believe how dramatic an effect Neil's weight loss has had on every aspect of his life.
At work, Neil is just so different. It's just like having a different man, a different husband. Even talking to our clients on the phone, he's just more confident about that. He's more confident to go out to meetings. He doesn't have to worry so much about, you know, where am I going to sit and what the chair sizes are going to be like. And also meeting clients as well. He used to think, well, the first thing they're going to think of me is, look at me, I'm just a fat man, and all of that. It's just fantastic. It's unbelievable in just a few months how much he's changed.
Stepmom Siobhan is delighted with the difference she's seen in Neil.
He's standing up straighter, he smiles a lot more. Just generally, everything seems to be better. He's just extended his life, we hope, by 40 years. And you can't really put a price on that. It's absolutely amazing, because it was such a brave thing to do. It was such a massive life change that he's embarked on. And I don't think everyone realises how difficult it is to basically to give up food.
Neil used to eat sausage and bacon baguettes with piles of chips throughout the day.
Now, when I'm in at work, I can't eat what I used to eat, thankfully. So, you know, I have my breakfast before I leave house, which is normally a bowl of cornflakes, and then I won't have anything till I have lunch, which is probably 3 small crackers with a bit of cheese on, until I get home and then have my tea then.
Neil still enjoys cooking for himself and Jenny at night, but he has to put more thought into what he's eating now.
Now I've had the habit up, I've got to make every meal count, because obviously my stomach is so small. I've got to get the protein and the nutrition in. So no, takeaways are definitely out. And I'm afraid there's a lot of business owners out there who aren't very happy about it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Jenny has always struggled with her weight too. At 23 stone, she's currently the heaviest she's ever been, and has now also been referred for a gastric bypass operation.
I'm just waiting for my date now, because I want to be able to do more things with my life as well. Because obviously my weight's not as bad as what Neil's was, but it is affecting me now. So, and I can't wait to have it, seeing how well Neil's done and how much better you feel.
Absolutely. I think it'll make a big difference to her life. And for us again, as a couple, so the effects will be twofold, really. And
We'll be two slim people together.
yeah, it'll just be great.
It's still early days, but already Neil's 12-stone weight loss has had a positive impact on their relationship.
We've been able to bond a lot more, and I sort of don't have that feeling of self-loathing anymore. My confidence has increased, and that can only be a good thing, because I don't just think about myself now. I try and think about everybody, and it's brought us together.
It's just brilliant. I just got my husband back, basically, which is wonderful.
This was easily the best thing I've done in my life. You know, I've been battling my weight for the last 20 years. There was no solution, and this was the solution. And I've regained my life, and hopefully many more years of my life as well. So it's fantastic, brilliant.